Hi, in this video I'm gonna demonstrate how to turn an Impossible Lab, so an Impossible Project Polaroid Lab, into a film back for Mamiya Universal Press or Polaroid 600SE that shoots Polaroid integral Polaroid film. And you can do this by using that Impossible Lab and one of the kits I'm selling on my website. And I'm selling these kits for Mamiya RB67, for Mamiya Universal Press, or Polaroid 600SE. There are 3 different kits, they're not interchangeable. So for this, you should already have a working Polaroid Lab with a good battery, because I suppose you're doing this at home. I'm not doing this for myself. And you should have followed the video on the website on the Rescue Me section that shows you how to disassemble and prepare Polaroid Lab for modification. At this point, you should have the lab with the top removed, the back cover, the little electronic board with the eject button and the ribbon. This could be attached or not, depends if you took it out, it's okay. We'll probably have to take it out. And you should also have 4 screws. I can't really see them very well. There you go. 4 long and 2 long and 2 short. Some of these may be silver, or maybe all the same length, and that's okay. Just remember that you really need the 2 short ones. And I suppose you've purchased one of my kits, and my kit should include, if it's for Mamiya Universal Press, for example, and the Polaroid 600SE should look the same, except the claws. Should have this, which is a new top, and a matching claw for this top. And you should also have already semi-assembled eject box with the eject button taped on the outside, and the side cover goes here, looks like this. And the frame counter, this is a special one I made for a friend, and a version of a dark check the cloud reminder, which is either this or something see-through. So let's leave the frame counters aside, and let's focus this on the work table. Oh, and also of course the dark slide itself. And also, if you did what I recommended when disassembling the Polaroid Lab, you should have already bent this up, the little brass strip. Make sure not to unglue it. It's held by a little glue point here. It glues back. It's not a big problem, but and you kind of want it to be at 45 degrees. Right now, it used to be pretty flat for the lab. All right, so let's begin. So the first step is to assemble this new top. So we begin by look at those 2 little notches. They should go into these 2 notches. You can see it very well. Kind of 2 holes. I'm gonna point them with a pair of tweezers. One here, and one here. So those 2 plastic protrusions have to go there, and they kind of slide in. Slide pretty easily. Right? And the lab kind of sits. And you should see pretty well there should be no gap on either side. Alright, so now we flip this over, and we have to attach the lab to this new top using the 2 black short screws we saved from disassembling the Impossible Lab. I forgot to bring the small screwdriver. I'll be right back. There you are. It's a Phillips 00 screwdriver. That's the one you're gonna need. So cross. So I'm gonna pick up from the lab parts box on the short screws. My screwdriver has a magnetic tip and it's very helpful because these screws are partly magnetic. So we're gonna insert it. Take this off. So those screws goes into these holes from the top. One in here, one in here. So they will one like that, and they will attach those little knobs on the inside. 1 and 2. I see one of the knobs is partly blocked. So let me clean it off with a pair of tweezers so we don't have any problems when we screw in there. I should prepare this better, apologies, but now I see the dirty work too. I almost hope this is clean enough. Or maybe not. Let's pre-drill this a bit. I usually do this ahead of time, but today I didn't, so let's pre-drill this. Right. Yeah, it's good enough. Clean the hole a bit. Remove the plastic. Insert that in more. That will be there somewhere. Alright, should hold on this side. Alright, so now that we saw what screws needs to go somewhere, so let's go back and let's attach the back. And plastic a bit. One, and the second one, it's a little more difficult because there's a lot less clearance on this side as on this side, but this side will attach. A lot less clearing on this side. So this is why a magnetic screwdriver helps a lot. Put it through the top hole on the top, and you should surely see the little knob goes in on the bottom. I think we're in. Yeah, solidly attached, doesn't go anywhere. Alright, so after this step, this is the biggest hurdle, I suppose. First thing we do is have to try to insert dark slide. The first time we do this is gonna be a little difficult because the little brass strip is bent all the way up, but that's not necessarily bad. So you hear the brass strip bending back. There you go. We're in. Awesome. Up. So don't forget that for this particular back, for the Mamiya Universal Press or Polaroid 600SE, and also for the RB67, it's very important that you match the direction of this plastic lip with the orientation of the lab. It has to point towards you, so away from the film plane. Film plane is here. This is towards the camera, because if you insert like this, it's gonna hit this and it's gonna hit this mountain lip. It won't go all the way. It's not gonna act like a dark slide. So flip it over. It's the front corner. Kind of wiggle it in, and voila, it works fine. Alright, you can leave the dark slide in. There's no harm in doing so right now. And make sure it goes all the way in both directions. Top. Way like that. We don't want to see any silver. Alright, so now that we've done this, we need to wiggle out this little eject cable that connects the motor and the battery of the lab and the electronics there with the control board to this little connector here. So the easiest way to do this is disconnect it from here, just on the side, and then you want to insert it through the side slots right here. It should be already clear, and there should be no debris in there. I cleaned up very well. And you want to insert it the blue side on top, not like this, blue side on top. A little bit, and use a pair of tweezers to extract, kind of pull off from the other side. It may give you a little trouble because it's rigid, but it's not very difficult. There you go. See? And if you insert it with the blue side on top, it should correctly connect to the electrical connector right here. So just push it in firmly. All right. Slightly pull on it, and then you want to set the little switch. I don't know what this does. Honestly, I have no idea. And a little tab here. Alright, you're kind of done with this side too, this part too. So now the next step is put the back cover. Okay, so I've done this many times, but for people who haven't, there's one little trick here. So you may notice that the bottom of the inside of the lab has two plastic tabs. One here and one here. Those actually should slide in under these other little plastic tabs in the cover. And one here, one here. So you can just slide it in all the way from the back, so you kind of have to like put it on like that, lay it down. There should be a few millimeters protruding out, and then push it in, and you should just go in. If it doesn't, then try again till it does it smoothly. And you can tell you did a good job if you look through these holes and you see the holes underneath. All right, so when I actually done that, I got pretty lucky. That is done the first try. We're gonna use the long black screws to extract this from the lab. Long black screws to secure the back of the lab back on the assembly, using again a Phillips 00 screwdriver. Alright, it's in there. Remember, the original screws were short here, but it really makes no difference. It doesn't interfere with wraps or anything, so it should be okay. I don't think it's going anywhere. So yeah, I think we're good. Yeah, so this is almost there. Looks like comes in and out. And another trick with inserting dust slide is that when you insert it, this top lip might hit this protruding lip, so you can lift it up slightly. It's gonna go all the way. All right, you're done. All right, what's next? Well, I would normally go and attach the checkbox, but before we do so, let's do an extra step that is not done in the RB67 kits. And one reason I recommend you actually send the labs to me for these bags for assembly. It's not very difficult, but it involves glue. Because of the way this is designed, this part is too thin to be printed as a continuous part. So I had to basically break it in half. And I designed these registration notches. There's one here, and there's these registration tabs on the left side. So what you do, basically put this here and glue it. So I'm gonna apply some glue. I know, sacrilege, but this also makes the lab a little hard to convert back, but I doubt that anyone ever is doing that. So use Gorilla Gel Super Glue. You can use something else. Any cyanoacrylate should work wonders. In other words, super glue. Yeah, it's pretty strong stuff. Be careful not to glue your fingers. I said that, but I do it every single time. Alright, so let's match the tabs and that. Press slightly on both sides. It's a thin part, maybe bend in transport. Just wait for 10 milliseconds. Don't remember, it takes like 40 seconds or so. And then there really no. So the print I use right now is pretty good. So this should perfectly match the distance between the claws. And I tested with several backs already. Works pretty well. So I'm confident that once this is dry, once this dries, it's gonna connect to the Mamiya Universal Press just fine. See, I glued my finger already. Alright. Alright, so you also clamp it. Either side, both sides. Yeah, I think it's good to go. Alright. So, just for safety, I'm gonna get two paper clips, binder clips, and bind these while I'm assembling in the lab, and then we're gonna go through a testing. All right, just for safety. Not big enough. Whatever. Alright. This is actually pretty strong. It sets in seconds, and yeah, it's good. It's good to go. Alright, so and test it. We can't test it yet completely, but you can test the fit. So this is my Mamiya Universal Press, and the way you assemble this is with the eject side on the left. You just sit, and it just sits. Okay. Sits very well, and then in order to lock it, you will lock it just as you lock the Polaroid back or the M adapter for this. You slide these two tabs, 1, 2, and it's locked in place. It doesn't wiggle, it's pretty solid. Let's unlock it. Let's push the little silver unlock buttons. Side 1. The second little silver button, and then push it out, and then let's remove the back. It should come off easily. Alright. We check the fit. We did a good job. Let's proceed to attaching the eject box. So now the next thing is to actually attach the eject box and put the eject button, the electronics inside, and then complete the assembly. In order to do this, we'll have to partially disassemble the box. I sent it a sample so people won't lose the little screws. So I may change this in the future and use Phillips screws, but for now I send the kit with this Torx 3 screws and a screwdriver tip to do the assembly. So alright, so pretty well. There are longer screws. Don't lose them. I provide a few spares, but not that many spares. And you see the eject button, it's attached from the top with tape, so it won't fall inside when you do the assembly. So what we want to do is route this cable, the ribbon cable, through the little slot on the bottom. You may have also noticed there's some double-sided tape there. Actually, good point. Before we do that, we want to remove the backing from double-sided tape. Tweezers work best. Right. And now carefully route that cable. Use tweezers if you must. Pull it on the outside, not on the inside of the box. I'm pulling on the side. Gently pull on it, and then match the little curve, the little indentation of the L bracket, the little channel on the side of the lab as much as you can, and gently push it down. And before you go ahead, you should verify the fit. The lab should the top should be pretty square, and the sides should be part of the side of the lab. So this looks pretty good, right? Press it on. It shouldn't really come off unless you really hit it. The double-sided tape is pretty amazing. So next step is gonna secure the L bracket to the side of the lab using these 4 tiny screws. Again, I will try to use number 0 Phillips screws from now on, but for now it's our Torx. The number is 0, but the head is Torx 3. So use a pair of tweezers to position them one at a time. Put them in. Oh, come on. There you go. Alright, don't over tighten. They're not very long. Plastic is not super strong. You don't really want to strip them. Right, 2, 3. You may have to angle them down a bit. It's okay. 2. Do one corner. You really just need 2 of these, but 4 makes it really safe. 3. Camera sits there. 4. All right, great. What's next? Well, next we're gonna attach this other end of the ribbon cable to eject box. So remember that has a side that has the connectors on one side and one side that says blue tape, right? So you wanna attach it with a blue tape towards the eject button. So like that. Why? Because the connectors are on the other side. So you basically, as it comes off, you have to twist it 90 degrees. I'm sorry, you have to twist it 180 degrees. You can't connect it like that. You have to twist it 180 degrees with the blue side towards the inside of the lab, and then connect it. Right. And now if we're lucky and your battery is charged, we should have an eject sound. Miracle, it worked. All right, so what we do next is kind of tuck this cable in a bit and then gently slide the eject board inside. If you encounter any resistance, that's good. Excellent. It's all in. Great. All right. Next step is to attach the cover that contains, that also holds the eject button. Put it down and reattach those 2 long screws that secure the eject box cover to the eject box. remove the tape a bit. At this point you can remove the tape completely, it's not going anywhere. That's really just to hold the button so it doesn't fall inside when we perform the assembly. I learned that trick the hard way. Alright. My hands are in the way, I'm sorry. Alright. And then cover this with this side panel cover. Alright, this is I don't know why I did this, but this has a left and right 3D printed on the inside, and they're backwards. So don't ask. Anyway, so the right should go to right, left to go left, and kind of hook in. Start to the right, hook it in, push it in, and then go left. So this doesn't stay very well. Poor engineering. So you can pull it off. And for a more secure assembly, and I should really redesign this, but it works the way it is now. I use a few dabs of glue on the corners and on the sides. There we go, a little glue here. Just, it doesn't need much. This has no, it's cosmetic and also to prevent any shit to go inside the eject box. Dirt, you don't want damage to the cable, water, or anything like that. Again, left, right, hook in your right, push it in, and it should sit well. It should glue pretty well, alright? We're done. Alright, so I will demonstrate how it's attached to that, and I have a separate video on how to use these things. So now let's see if this actually ejects. This is a cartridge with use film. I have a few frames in there. Alright. Dark slide. So I'm gonna push this button. You have to use your nail. It doesn't go out a lot, and this is on purpose because you don't want to push it accidentally, eject frames. Right, so ta-da! 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so you're done. This is still attached to the camera. Again, put the dark slide back, and don't forget that the plastic lip needs to face you. All right, so now the finishing touch-ups to this, since you already have the kit and it's included, is to attach the little frame counter. It goes from 8 to 0. I know I put 0 in there, but you know, just to double check. Yeah, you're really out of film when you get to 0. And of course, this is designed for the new Polaroid film that only has 8 frames per box, not 10 like the old ones. But I don't think there's any type 600 film or type 0 film that's still out there working. That has 10 frames box. Again, a pair of tweezers helps. Let's attach the counter. I should attach it somewhere here. Like that. assuming you're gonna use this. Assuming you're gonna be using this as a fresh pack. Back to 0. The little screw that holds the needle has a Phillips head screw, so in case it comes loose, you can retighten it. All right, and let's say we wanna one of these guys attached to it. I usually use double-sided tape here. I thought I brought some to the table. I'm not gonna go back for this, but so you just attach a little double-sided tape here, then just gonna tape it in wherever you want. This is the solid leather version. This is the see-through leather version. I like the see-through leather version. This is not necessarily good print, but yeah. All right, I think we did it. By the way, this is an actual working lab. I'm sending this to a customer tomorrow, so this is besides some prep work, this is basically the assembly process for this lab. No tricks here, it's all real. Bye.